Welcome to this explainer. Today, I'm putting on my career coaching hat because we are going to unpack a seriously fascinating case study. We're diving into the story of three friends who tried to escape their daily grind by getting into real estate. But here's the kicker. What actually happened to them completely rewrites the rulebook on how we think about career success. We'll see exactly how they took a massively frustrating collective failure and turn it into these incredible six-figure breakthroughs. So if you've ever felt stuck or like your current game plan just isn't panning out, stick around. This is exactly what you need to hear. To really get their journey, we've got to rewind a bit. Picture a crowded, noisy sports bar about 8 years ago. Waitresses are weaving through tables with wings and beers, and our three friends, Ryan, Steven, and Justin, are raising their glasses. They are celebrating a massive milestone. They just passed their state real estate exams. In their minds, this piece of paper was the golden ticket. They're toasting to wealth, to freedom, and to literally never having to punch a time clock again. They were absolutely convinced they'd found the finish line. But wow. Fast forward 12 months, and that dream, it crashed hard into reality. I mean, the expectation was easy wealth and fast sales, right? But the reality was brutal. They poured their hard-earned savings into marketing, went to every networking event they could find, made endless cold calls, and the result? Just resounding silence. We're talking unreturned calls, fierce competition, and totally drained bank accounts. That initial excitement of getting licensed, it evaporated completely. To figure out why they struggled so much and how they eventually pivoted, let's look at who they were before this whole real estate dream. First up, meet Ryan. Ryan was an exhausted school teacher. Now, he genuinely loved helping people. And actually, keep that in mind. That core strength of teaching is going to be super crucial later on. But man, he was drowning. Student personalities, parent conferences, endless administrative paperwork, it was a lot. And despite his degree, he was struggling financially with student loans. So he looked at real estate as this desperate life raft. Next, we have Steven. Now, Steven was making decent money, earning around 50 grand a year as a neighborhood bartender. But he felt utterly stuck in this repetitive loop. Every single night was exactly the same. The same bar stools, the same drinks, the same complaints from the exact same patrons. He really wanted to do something bigger with his life, and real estate just seemed like this shiny, exciting new chapter. And finally, there's Justin. Justin was a claims adjuster for an insurance company. His entire day consisted of looking at photos of dented bumpers and calculating payouts. Talk about profoundly boring, right? He was just so tired of constantly cleaning up other people's problems. He wanted to build something. He wanted to create real wealth. For him, real estate represented growth, buildings, and just endless possibilities. Okay, so fast forward 1 year from that big celebration. They're back together, but this time, they are frustrated and completely defeated. They had to face a really difficult truth. And honestly, this is a massive mindset shift for any professional out there. A license, a degree, or a certification, it is never a guarantee of success. It's just permission to play the game. Doing the exact same thing as thousands of other agents clearly wasn't working. They desperately needed a unique strategy. And this is exactly where the pivots begin, and they are brilliant. Let's look at Ryan first. One day after church, Ryan overheard some parents stressing out over housing costs. Now, instead of just shoving a business card in their faces, he leveraged the hidden value in his existing skill, teaching. He hosted a completely free seminar to explain the home buying process. Credit scores, mortgages, down payments. Only 6 people showed up, but he taught his heart out. One attendee even told him, "Nobody has ever explained it this clearly." And from there, word spread like wildfire. He turned his teaching skills into a massive trust-building magnet. Now, Steven, our bartender, took a totally different approach. He had this profound realization. The bar wasn't his prison, it was actually his laboratory. People went there to connect. So he asked the owner if he could host networking events in the back room. The owner said sure, as long as people bought drinks. So Steven invited contractors, lawyers, business owners, and they started exchanging referrals. These events were a huge hit. They organically snowballed into singles nights, karaoke, and even fashion events. He found his gold mine right where he already was. Then there's Justin. Poor Justin was struggling the most and was honestly on the verge of quitting the whole shebang. But his pivot hinged on a total chance encounter on a sidewalk with a guy named Mike. Years earlier, Justin had handled one of Mike's insurance claims, and they kept in touch. Well, Mike wasn't filing claims anymore. He was now a developer building a 12-unit apartment project. In a moment of pure initiative, literally seizing the opportunity right in front of him, Justin stepped up and said, "Hey, I'd love to represent the project." And guess what? Mike agreed. Justin's breakthrough is absolutely crucial for us to analyze. That single project generated more income than his entire previous year combined. But the lesson here isn't just about getting lucky. You see, luck might open a door, but relationships determine if you can actually walk through it. Justin completely flipped his business model. Instead of chasing hundreds of individual buyers, he specialized strictly in building genuine long-term relationships with developers. All right, now we're jumping 8 years into the future. The three friends return to that exact same sports bar, sitting at the exact same table where they first celebrated getting their licenses. But the realities are completely unrecognizable from what they originally planned. The emotional whiplash from that first year of crushing failure to this moment of absolute triumph, it is staggering. When we compare their original plans to their final breakthroughs, the contrast is just incredible. Ryan the teacher used those real estate seminars to pivot into becoming a six-figure online educator. He creates courses and podcasts now. He still teaches, just not in a traditional classroom. Steven the bartender, he realized he wasn't really passionate about real estate at all. He just loved bringing people together. Today, he owns a six-figure event planning company. And Justin, the claims adjuster, stayed in real estate, but he entirely pivoted his strategy to specialize in developers, giving him constant, massive sales. Which brings us to the core business lesson of this explainer. I call it the doorway principle. You see, none of them reached success the exact way they expected to. They thought that real estate license was the final destination, right? The ultimate answer to all their prayers. But in reality, real estate was simply the doorway they needed to walk through to discover their true gifts, their true personalities, and their true purpose. Success is rarely a straight line, folks. So how do we actually apply this? Well, here is your actionable roadmap derived directly from their success. First, leverage your existing skills like Ryan did. Your greatest opportunity might literally be something you already know how to do. Second, watch what people naturally respond to. Steven thought he was building a real estate business, but his audience told him they loved his events, so pay close attention to the market. And third, just like Justin, prioritize genuine personal relationships over cold advertising. As your career coach today, I really want to emphasize the mindset shift required here. If you are frustrated right now, you have got to stop trying to force a flawed or failed plan. Banging your head against a wall is not going to open a door. Instead, you need to pivot towards aligning your innate personal strengths with unexpected professional opportunities. You've got to be willing to keep seeking and knocking, even when that original blueprint completely falls apart. I want you to actively reflect on this right now. Ask yourself, what skills do you already possess that could potentially become a source of income? Ryan thought he needed to become this slick salesperson, but his true value was his ability to explain complex things simply. So what is your version of that? What comes super easily to you but is difficult for others? Let's take it a step further. What opportunities might be hiding in your current job, business, or community? Think about Steven. He felt trapped in that repetitive bartending job, yet the seat of his six-figure event company was sitting right there in the back room of that very bar. Are you completely overlooking an opportunity that's hidden in plain sight within your current environment? And finally, ask yourself this. Are you relying on a single source of income, or are you exploring additional opportunities? Justin had the persistence to push through initial failure and invest in genuine relationships with people like Mike, which led to a completely new specialized income source. Building genuine connections takes time, for sure, but it yields the absolutely highest dividends. I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder as you navigate your own professional journey. What if the opportunity you've been praying for isn't the destination, but simply the door leading you to something greater? Keep your eyes open, leverage what you're already great at, and don't be afraid to walk through unexpected doorways. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Start looking for those hidden opportunities in plain sight today.